All right. So, I was asked to kind of do a review, an overview of my various pick sets. I own several hundred picks, just years of acquiring them and using them, in my day to day life as a professional locksmith. So, there are some things that I carry all the time, some things that I carry very occasionally, and some things that basically have a specific place and a specific kit for a specific purpose. And I'll kind of highlight what those are for, where they go, and basically why I use them in that particular location. So what we've got is there's some commercial offerings. Most of it's kind of like a case, and then I've smashed together for a certain purpose. We've got just the standard, Mad Bob kit. I've got a Peterson short hook in here. For the most part, it's a stock Mad Bob kit. And I love the Mad Bob kits, and this is a very nice light kit for if I think I'm gonna just be picking recreationally, but I don't want to carry a lot of the other stuff. This is a good one, and everything Mad Bob makes is pretty good. So no complaints there. Real light, carry it on your belt. I never do, but that's good. Doesn't really have a particular place, but it's in the collection. This is HPC's Ranger kit, I believe it's called. I really like these because this is kind of a callback to their older, very nice cases. This is, or at least it was advertised as hand-distressed leather, though still being a Chinese offering, at least the case is. Then the inside is their stainless steel picks and key extractors. I use these fairly frequently because of their robust nature. So you can kind of see that they've got golden handles, which is a deviation from their traditional stainless steel stuff. So it's nice, and I mean, yeah, even the metal is starting to look hand distressed. So kind of funny there, but they've got their variations of Bogota. I'm not looking directly at the camera, so if I get a little off center, that's probably why. So, and turning tools. All in all, nice case. The stainless steel picks kind of require some getting used to, but it's a good kit. I would definitely recommend them if you're using your picks fairly frequently, but you don't want to spring for something more custom. We've got the Mad Bob kind of tactical in an aluminum casing. There's like a Velcro inner lining that kind of friction holds these all together. And it's cool. It's really cool. But, it holds all of 6 picks and then these turning tools. Biohazard. That's indicative of something you want to be carrying. So I like it in its construct, but utility-wise, I don't use it a whole lot. It's, kind of bulky. It's very uncomfortable to sit on. And for the longest time, I carried my picks exclusively in my back pocket. So that's something that I don't want to do with this kit. So this one just kind of hangs out and, every now and then I'll use it. But for the most part, collector's item. This is probably my favorite commercial offering for a kit. If you know me, you know that I like pink. It's probably one of my favorite colors. I use it in a lot of my stuff. Pin kit, rubber band. So I request or look for pink items fairly frequently. They're easy to pick up with the eyesight. People tend to not want to steal my stuff if it's pink, and I generally like it. So this is the Lady Locksmith set, sold by HBC. This is a micro suede case, which is really nice. Very soft, and it molds very well. You can see that it's molded around these. So this is or molded around these picks. Sorry to not complete my sentence there. So these are stainless steel picks. They're kind of Bogota variations, and then the pink picks themselves. I really like this. I carry this kit fairly frequently because the case is very comfortable to hold and also keep in your pocket. It's it's something that kind of molds itself in your pocket. So I like that kind of a squishy leather. It's got a good zipper too. So that's kind of important for these zipper cases. So This is a good kit. I would recommend getting it if you're ever shopping for strictly HPC products. I've mentioned before, if you've met me before, that some of my stuff came from my mentor, and some of the stuff he got as handouts or trade show wins or whatever. And this is one of those things that he gave to me that I don't have any real use for. So these are HPC's computer picks, which are computer generated waves, and you're supposed to use them like a key or something. I've had no success pretty much using these. I'm sure the use case is out there somewhere, and there might be one or two people out there in the world that swear by these and they can use them very well. It's a hard sell for me, but interesting enough to hold on to. Pretty rare. Not many people have these. You can still get them though. So not to say they're a collector's item. South Ord, tubular lockpick, switch from 7 to 8 pin. A very good pick if you know, because these tend to be fairly costly. So if you can afford one pick, get this pick, and then move up in your collection. I have a lot of tubular picks. I think I probably have 6 or 7, just for various purposes. You know, they're all a little different. Excuse me. This is HPC's pen pick set. So I showed this in another one of my other videos, but these are all the tips, and there are also pick gun tips, and HPC also makes a lock pick gun, very obviously. This clip up here that is kind of just, you know, oh, got some stuff stuck in the threading. All right. Gotta love it when it doesn't go. So, getting off center. This I can still kind of wiggle out, but it's a turning tool, pretty much. And this is supposed to be a screw. It's broken off. These are expensive. The feedback is terrible, and they are just generally not great. You can... Well, I'll see if I can't at least show you where the... yeah, all right. So, the... looks like an X-Acto knife, but basically they drop in here. Those pick gun tips. So they drop in here, and then you use this whole beastly thing to attempt to pick your way in. I guess it's nice because it doesn't look like lock picks, and some people like that or prefer that. I don't have any purpose for it. I carry my lock picks everywhere. Never really had a problem. This kit is very special. So when my mentor first started out, he had, like, there was no real commercial offerings for picks. Nobody just sold them, really. You had to make them. And this is one of his very first attempts. He made this case. He made everything about it. So I'll lay it down here. So kind of get it all in view here. So there's, you know, like old like key that was used as a turning tool kind of thing. Just, you know, old like skeleton style keys. All of these were made of just hacksaw blades and feeler material, and you can see this very rough, just like really handmade, lack of polish, but just very well used. Like, look at this. This was a hand twist, and I mean, it was heated and it was, you know, polished to work in your hand very well. And so some of these were used to pick automotive locks. Just really sentimental. You know, little warding file. Got like the original like flat Z turning tool here, guys. Look at that. And it's also a jiggle key, because more than one tool in one tool. It was kind of the MO for the day. So I love this kit. I actually have plans to kind of clean up and, you know, really do a once over on these picks. I'm not incredibly skilled with metallurgy and fabrication of things like this. You know, I can make parts, but making something like this and polishing it up, I think, would be real nice. And since my mentor is now in assisted care, I think if he were to see that polished up in one way or another, he would be quite thrilled. So that's just a little background. I've put a few stories about my mentor and he was quite a character. Is quite a character. He's still around. So I've also been asked about jiggle picks and things of that nature. I have a full-on, dedicated for the purpose, jiggle pick kit set that even goes by manufacturer. Most of these you can just use in any sort of way. Like it might say Volkswagen, Mitsubishi, etc., but you don't have to use it for that. I mean, and like there's just like some deep reach hooks. And this kit, I gotta say, despite, the pick handles being rusty, got a diamond, got my far reach hook. It's the kit is really nice. It's got felt backing. It's got these clear plastic dividers. And just all in all, like a really attractive, nice kit. Instructions even, gas cap rocker pick, turning tool. Like a really nice kit. This one was also a handoff from my mentor. He uses these all the time. That was back in the old, you can use a Slim Jim to open almost any car days. But he didn't really like that because it made him look like a tow truck driver. Those are his words. So I use these jigglers. I also use a thing called Marshall keys, depending on the keyway of the car that I'm working on, which is a specially cut blank to basically act as a jiggler specifically for that year, make, and model. And I tend to keep stuff like that on hand in my rig or my lockout kits specifically for a vehicle that I'm working on. That helps because I don't have to worry about what's going to fit. That key will fit in that lock and it will jiggle, and it gives you, because it's the key, it gives you the amount of turning force that you're going to need. It's all requisite. It's a very nice way to do it. Marshall keys are a very good tool. A channel on YouTube, SE Lock and Key, Fondren Locksmith, Jason Meeks, he uses Marshall keys. He's got a couple videos of him using them. They're a good tool. You can definitely use them. And then these 4 kits remaining here, I'm going to move them into frame here. So these 4 kits, these are my most frequently used. So I'm going to go from basically, I'm going to do this one last. I'm going to kind of go in this circle here. So this one is my Bogota kit. This is what I use for actual Bogotas that are like the traditional styling, but it's got a whole lot to it. So this case sees a lot of use. So I'm going to expand on what's in here. So I've got one Bogota set. This is a Cerapic titanium Bogota set, carbide saw, padlock shim, easy decoders, all of that is in here. These are all titanium. This is like my very first really good lockpick set was this set. So and I've used it a ton, and Cerapic definitely makes some good tools. I've gotten some further expansions. Some of these are the Mad Bob Reina picks, Peterson's Bogotas and turning tools, Sparrow's mace picks, which is just like an expansion, because every little bit helps. And if I'm gonna be like just out and about and I only got really room for one little kit, I'll usually throw this in whatever bag that I'm gonna be carrying, because it's got something to tackle everything that I might have to run into. Excuse me. Sparrows, double-sided wafer jiggler picks, rocker picks, what have you. These work really well for older American padlocks, Illinois, Chicago locks. They really work. They work really well. I riveted them together so they didn't kind of come apart. I don't like things on bead chain because it's very unwieldy. This is a much smaller form factor, and I'm probably gonna just want to keep everything together anyway because I'm gonna go from one to the next. So the Mantis turning tool. This was like the only real single pin pick turning tool or whatever for tubular locks. Now there's the Goat, which I believe Lawk Noob designed. Lawk Noob, he's a great channel. Go watch him. So I have this. I've used it very little, but it has seen use. I've got jiggler picks for file cabinet locks, whatever, and I just went from smallest to largest. So these get some use, but most of the file cabinets I deal with are pin tumbler, and they require something a little more specifically designed. Got Sparrow's warded lock picks. You'll notice I've got a lot of Sparrow's kit. I'm a dealer with them, but I also really like their tools. So for years, I used their tools almost exclusively, before, I branched out and started using things that were a more commercial offering, as I got further into locksmithing, and I didn't want to break my special picks. So the coffin keys, these are just the big jigglers or whatever. I don't use these in cars. I use them for really big wafer locks that you might find on like an old garage or something similar to that. Got a U-bend for making turning tools. I buy flat steel stock assortments that ESP, Hudson, and HPC, or whoever they are now, sell. But you can use windshield wipers, whatever. This will bend it in a nice way, so you can use it for turning tool making, and that's specifically what it's for. So this is a good tool, good thing to have. So you can always just make a turning tool on hand. This is a mini follower. This actually, I believe, is a piece from a pivot hinge. The ball bearing would normally ride in this cup, and it would allow a storefront style door to float up inside down. But however, this works really well as a good follower, and this divot lets you just drop a spring and a pin into and just kind of thumb into a chamber, with your pick or whatever you're using to load top pins. So really nice, really heavy too, solid steel. So a really good follower to have just in a small kit. I think this is a Zach Tools or something similar to that handcuff key. I always have a handcuff key somewhere. This is an S&G environmental padlock key I made to open a padlock, and did a bunch of visual decoding and stuff. But anyway, I made this. I like it because it works a lot of the ones around my area. So if I'm servicing something, I'll usually have a key, and this is it. So I'm very mildly obfuscating the bitting. They're not terribly difficult to pick, but making a key from scratch, I like to show that off. So it's pretty cool. So I've got Peterson, Schlage, Everest turning tools, right and left hand. I deal a lot with Schlage. Everest Primus, Everest Primus 2029, whatever. If it's Schlage, I deal with it almost on a daily basis. And I had to do something to be able to pick Everest. So these don't work very well in the D and T family of Everest. They're kind of more of the S and C variety. So there's, you got to do a little extra to get them to work in more restricted keyways. But they do work, and they are worth having. And then I've just got some more stuff. So this is a backup bull nose turning tool for my RCS tool, jackknife folding lockpick. So this is not scripted, so sorry if I trail off. I do that sometimes. Then more easy decoders, a Z turning tool. I think I could probably find another use for this kit since I had to break apart my tool emergency lockpick card. This could probably hold those fairly well with these pockets down here. So anyway, more ideas as we go along. And this is just a Sparrow's zip-up kit. So it holds a very large amount of tools, as you saw. So that's good for them. I'm just going to scoot that to the side and try to hurry this video along. Most of my videos are very long-winded as far as right now. I might have to start doing like kit by kit. This is long been my frequent flyer. This goes everywhere with me. It's always in my sling bag, my back pocket, or something. This is my de facto always have tool set. So let's open it up. I love this kit. So this is a creeper case made by Sparrows. As you can see, turning tools, lots of turning tools. I don't want to pull everything out because it is a pain to cram everything in here. So I've got a short hook, pink handle, HPC. That's my go-to for picking, single pin picking, or at least before I go to the next pick. So I've got all of Peterson's IC turning tools to attempt to turn things to control, various dog ear style top of keyway turning tools. I've got the kind of like shove knife kind of thing made by Sparrows. A lot of these are the open organization of lock pickers, part of the Tremendous 12, or whatever just the turning tool set would be. Bought that, and it's made its way into this kit. This is the turning tool that I always pull out first. It's very long. It fits in most keyways, and I have it bent right here in the middle to kind of give my finger a place to rest. That's a little closer to just center. So, you know, right around here usually. And then behind here, I have cut up pieces of dairy milk carton. And these are good for latch shims. So if you can overshut a door, you can get a shim behind there and Lloyd a door open. I've got master padlock key decoders, the 5-in-1 lab key decoder. I've got shove it tools, the Sparrow's equivalent of the silver bullet for getting things out of the way, like in master padlocks, so you can kind of force the ball bearings out of the way or just kind of pop them open. And then I also have in IC, small format IC decoder in there too. So this has a lot of tools for me to kind of get some stuff done or decode a key on the fly if I'm on an engagement or something, or just out and out doing just plain old locksmithing work. This is the guy. This is the one that